If you ever thought about the question of purpose, which is what is the purpose of life, I want you to reframe those questions into different questions. The reason you might be asking about purpose in life, the reason I have often asked this question to myself, is either I want validation on whether the thing I'm doing right now is the correct thing to be doing. And number two, because life is finite. If you're looking at life as a finite game, you want to know that the missions you're playing are worth playing. And if there are other missions in this game that might be better, you find out what they are. Either they show up on your map, like you have GTA right here, or there's a different way where you find that out. So the question of purpose comes down to what are the missions in my life and what is the game that I'm playing? Which is, I really believe in this philosophy of know thy game. Not just from a macro purpose of life perspective, but even when it comes to a career perspective. Very easy it is to be on Twitter, to be on a community with a forum. You're talking to your friends, you're talking to other acquaintances, you're seeing things that they are up to. It's very easy to look at that and be like, hey, shit, is that something I should be doing? Or sometimes it's subconscious, it's not a conscious question, but sometimes it's like, hey, a feeling starts creeping in. The idea is that of mimetic desire, which is most desires aren't born within us, they're picked up like contagious diseases. So when you pick up these desires, which is a couple of people in your friends group bought a car, and now suddenly it's on your mind, you've been thinking about, hey, maybe I should be buying a vehicle, right? That's a desire that you've picked up. So, coming back to the idea of know thy game, the reason I think that's so important is because if I can remind myself that this is the game that I'm playing, I can then reassure myself that my game does not involve this other thing, which is if I do pick up a desire, which is, let's say it's to raise VC money, right? I know so many friends of mine who've raised massive rounds, right? Series A, seed rounds, millions of dollars. When I look at that, not anymore, but there was a point where I was like, hey, shit, should I be raising money or should I be starting up? This was way back then. But now I know the game that I'm playing, which is, I mean, that's not what this video is about. I'm not going to get into that. But I know the game that I'm playing. So the things that I'm doing now, I know why they are important to my game and its outcome. I might be saying this, it might feel like I've figured it out, but I want you to assure you this is not something that's figured out for me at all, which is constantly, week over week, or let's say fortnight over fortnight, I get into this mode where I'm like, shit, I'm not doing enough. I'm just not doing enough. There's this other thing which I should be doing as well. And there's two or three things which are swimming in my mind. And lately, the way I've been able to resolve those quandaries, resolve those things for myself, is to remind myself that I need to know my game. So think about that concept, which is I am not 100% implying that life is a game. I am saying it is game like, which is it is finite. It does depend on the player very heavily, which is Mario as a game might feel like a very standard level design. It's quite standard. Every single player who plays it still goes through the same levels. But the direction you take, the path, is very different when you decide to jump, whether you decide to kill a Koopa or jump over it. It changes your game. Now, this is even greater in games like GTA, where you can choose to not do certain missions. You can choose to go heavier on certain things. And you can choose not to do 100% completion. A lot of people leave it at a certain 80% because there's certain things that, like, that's not something that I really want to do. Life is game like. I won't really say right now with assertiveness that life is a game. But life is game like in the sense that you are your character. There isn't a standard Mario level that you are playing. You're in an open world game. And when it comes to that, it means the choice as the player, it's up to you to actually play the missions you want to. I'm not going to touch upon the ideas of free will in this video, but if you can imagine a massive set of missions, it's up to you to pick which missions you want to play. And the second part of that is life is finite, which is there's an opportunity cost associated with everything, which is you might think that I'm going to do a certain thing, but as you get a little older, or even maybe now, you realize that doing a certain thing means saying no to all of these other things. Sometimes it's a very conscious choice to say no, which is this is what I enjoy, so this is what I'm going to do more. Sometimes it's a subconscious or an unconscious choice, which is you never think about the opportunity cost. Like this is true for macro and micro. You watching this video is you saying no to a bunch of other things you could be doing, right? You taking on a certain career means you saying no to a bunch of other careers. But every single decision you make in life, right, you as this player character, means saying no to a lot of other things. So think about opportunity cost, think about you as the player in your game. And as always, if anything resonated in this video, drop a comment. I would love to hear it. See you all in the next video. Bye-bye.